Now I'm going to give you a couple of illustrations. International Vice President of a financial services company sent me an email from Texas. I'm not going to tell you the company, it's a big one. You know, it's a very prestigious one. And he says, I got promoted to international VP in this company. Really exciting, great honor, lots of money that comes with that. There's only one drawback. As a result of this is international, as a result of this, I have to answer my BlackBerry within 5 minutes, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year for any important message. And he says, I thought about it, and 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 then I said no. You know when he said no? He was listening to his daughters practice their violin in the back room. And he said no. I would have said no. I'm not going to relinquish total control of my life. So, but a lot of people would say yes, and I'm not saying which is the right answer there, but he did an opportunities cost evaluation. Mayo Clinic, there's a doctor there, he was a resident, his name is Dr. Ackerman, and there was a gal from New York who had come down, she was 9 years old, and she needed to have a heart transplant. And the residents get to know the patients really pretty well. They work them up and spend a lot of time with them. So Stephanie was going into her surgery, and she said, Dr. Ackerman, I'm very scared about this surgery. Can you promise me that I won't die? And he says, Stephanie, I not only promise you you will not die at this surgery, but I promise you I will dance with you at your senior prom. She didn't die. She got well. She went back to New York. 9th grade, she says, Mom, do you think he maybe remembers it? Oh, sweetie, probably not. He's a staff cardiologist. They're very busy. He's a nice guy, probably not. 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade. She says, Mom, it's 12th grade. Do you think Dr. Ackerman might possibly even a little bit remember that he said that to me? And she says, honey, I'm sure not. I mean, he's a great guy, but you know, he's very, very busy. She wrote Dr. Ackerman a letter. The mother did. Didn't tell the daughter. She sent it to the Mayo Clinic. So Dr. Ackerman gets it at the Mayo Clinic. She didn't have the house address. And he looks at this, and he brings it home and he shows his wife. He says, look at this, read this. He says, I'm supposed to give a paper in San Diego the morning of that prom. I'm supposed to give a paper in Orlando the next morning after that. And his wife looked at that invitation and she said, you make this happen. He canceled his paper in San Diego, he canceled his paper in Orlando, he talked to the mother, nobody else. They flew out there in the middle of this dance. They're starting back up. I don't know how the lights went up, the lights went down. I'm not a dancer, I have no idea, okay? But this isn't a story about dancing. And he goes in, and things are starting back up, and the song comes on, and he taps her on the back, and he says, could I have the privilege of this dance? And she turned around, and she just started bawling, she just started crying, and she hugged him. You know what? People on the talk circuit found this out on television. He was on some morning television programs related to this. And he says, medicine can be a pounding profession, and these opportunities don't come along very often, but you have to buy them up, because this is one of the top privileges I'll ever have as a physician. There's a dentist with a slow morning. You're getting toward the end of your career, you know, and he told me this story. He says, I came in Monday morning and I had no patients for Monday morning and 1 in the afternoon. Now what would you do? I'd go home. I'd hide under my bed. This is horrible. Well, he hung around, and pretty soon a guy comes in with a big swollen jaw, and he's groaning, and he says, could you help me? Could you help me? I have so much pain. I've been to 2, I had this through the weekend, but I didn't want to bother anybody. I've been to 2 dentists so far this morning, and they couldn't help me, and I wonder if you could. Yeah, I said, get up there. And he numbed him up, drained the abscess, got him on some antibiotics. He says, how's that feel? He says, oh, it feels great. It feels great. You know, I'm a really poor person and I don't have much money, but I will pay you a little bit every week or work something out, okay? He says, no, that's all right. He says, I've been so poor for so long that my teeth, I just don't smile anymore. You know, I just don't smile anymore. And the dentist says, what are you doing for the rest of the morning? He said, well, nothing. He said, well, why don't you just stay there? And the dentist fixed all his uppers. And he says, here, take a mirror. What do you think? And he just started crying. And he says, I can't pay you. I can't pay you. And the dentist said, well, you already have. You see, dentistry isn't always fun either. You know, but this is fun. I mean, medicine and dentistry, I mean, some of these other special things that we get to do just because it's right and it feels good and it's the human thing to do. And those are opportunity costs. Live from the inside out. You know, there's 2 report cards you have. One is from the outside, what the world says about you, and one is the inside. I want to know who you are when you lay down in bed and you turn your light off. I want to know who you are there. There's an internal report card. This gal, you've heard a lot about her story. I think her name is Bethany Hamilton. And she was a kind of a real good surfer in California, and a shark came and bit her arm off. And this is in Japan. Our son and daughter-in-law are there with the tsunami, helping with the tsunami, and they brought her over because the tsunami took so much of their lives. I mean, it was just a horrific, the tsunami was like horrific natural event. And so it took so many of their people and all of their houses, and it did Bethany's arm. And so she came over there, and you know what? She always dresses like this. She does not cover that shoulder up. She says, this isn't who I am. This is who I am. And if you live out of this, rather than what the world is saying about it, if you live out of this, what you have inside of you, then you're more insulated from the arrows of the world. If you have good values in here and you're living up to them.